We're looking at one of my favorite bikes in the Haibike line. This is the Fullseven, and it used to be called the FS RX. And it's very similar, but the drivetrain's been updated a little bit. Instead of a Shimano SLX, now it has Shimano Diore XT, so a little bit higher end there. It comes in this nice green and black color. Before it was also green and black, but they had like a light blue, gray kind of option. I think this looks pretty cool, and it does come in three sizes, like 45, 50, and 55 centimeter. The FSRX, it came in like a 40 as well, but I think that one was just, they weren't selling as many in that size, the super small size, and so they had leftovers, and since they're so similar, they kind of narrowed it down to 3. But keep an eye out. If you're a smaller person and you need the 40, just look for a 2014 version of the FSRX, because again, they're very similar bikes. I guess I should start out with the wheel size, because that's part of what the Fullseven is talking about here. 27.5. Okay, so that's right in between 26 and 29. You get nice sort of rolling momentum and gap spanning, and it smooths out some of those bumpy moments, but at the same time, it's not so large like a 29er that you can clip your toe and stuff when you're pedaling, which I appreciate that. So this is also called 650B size, and the width is 2.25. These things are really knobby. These tires that we're looking at here, knobby nicks. That's why they're called that. I gotta say, like, before we get too much into this, I love just how matched everything is. You can see the highlights on the wheels, on the frame, on the seat, even on sort of the locking grips right here, body optimized. So XLC, very nice stuff, just all across. And that's the case for all of the different sizes. No matter what you get here, you're gonna have something that's comfortable and nice to stand over. You can see how it's kind of an angled top tube like that. We've got 120 millimeters of travel in the front and in the rear. We've got a RockShox Recon. This is an air fork with oil damping, and it's also got like a remote lockout. So this is the kind of thing where if you're going from a descent into a climb, you can quickly sort of lock that out and reduce some of your bobbing. And because it's an air fork, you can also sort of dial this thing in and set it up for your weight. Right now, it's actually set up for someone who's a little bit heavier than me, so it's pretty stiff when I'm riding it. It's nice to know you can do that. Same thing for the Fox Float, sort of rear suspension, 120 millimeters, and it's got CTD, so climb, trail, descend. Descend is all the way to the left side, and trail is in the middle, and climb is on the right. Okay, and climb is the stiffest, trail is a little bit softer, and descend is the softest, so you get more travel, because presumably you're going fast and you're hitting stuff on your way down. So I like that. I also really like that they've got these 15 millimeter Thru-Axles on both of the dropouts. So the way it works is you've got quick release on both wheels, and you actually kind of screw the axle in, and so it's really stiff, it's really sturdy. And I found that when I'm putting these bikes to the test, I'm like heading downhill or over a lot of really rigorous obstacles, I'm just not getting as much flex, and I'm not getting zinging on the disc brakes. These are pretty amazing disc brakes, by the way. Got a 203 millimeter front brake, Shimano hydraulic, really little levers here, and that's because you only need like a couple fingers. And then 180 at the rear and quick release. So one of the benefits of having a mid-drive system, which is what this uses, is that most of sort of the electric assist stuff is right here. So if you have a flat, or you need to true your wheel or get some kind of maintenance done, you take it to a shop or you do it yourself, like that's all independent, and it's what you're probably used to working on if you're a traditional bicycle rider. So I really like that. I mean, these bikes are a whole lot of fun to ride around, relatively lightweight for an electric bike too, and all that weight is very well centered and just like low, centrally located, protected. If it tips, this shell here, you can kind of see this plastic, this Bosch center drive, that's just, it's sort of aesthetic, but it's also designed to protect it in case you hit some sticks or some rocks or whatever. And inside it's a little bit smaller, pretty compact, and it's designed to just be very durable, and that's what I've seen in my experience. I own one of the older 2014 FSRXs. I just bought it for myself. I wanted to see what the Bosch system was capable of, and it's still going strong, hundreds and hundreds of miles. I've let family members use it. I've taken it on trails. I've used it for commuting. It's just tons of fun. One of the drawbacks, however, is that there's no throttle or anything. So this is more of a bicycle. You have to pedal in order to get it to go. but pedaling is made super smooth and easy because this has a really nice kind of like a torque sensor, a speed sensor, and a cadence sensor, and they're all detecting how you're interacting with the bike like 1,000 times per second. You can see the speed sensor back here. This little kind of a magnet and a sensor, and the other sensors are built right into the motor itself. And then they feed up to the Bosch Intuvia display panel up here, which is where you interact with everything. So all of that is being powered off of this Power Pack 400. And that's a 400, just about 396 watt hour battery pack, 36 volt, removable, locking. It's got this nice little LED power indicator built right in. So if you take it off, and look at these keys, by the way, pretty nice. If you take this off, you bring it inside, or maybe you take it off because you want to reduce the weight of your bike, putting it on your car or something, you can do that. So 36 volt, 11 amp hours. There's kind of the charge port right there. That's what you'd plug into with the charger. It's a relatively lightweight charger, easy to kind of take with you if you need to, but if you're on the trail, you know, there's probably nowhere to charge. It's pretty well secured there on the down tube. And if you wanted to try to charge this while it was on the bike, there we go. There's this little rubber piece right here that kind of covers that charging port. So charge it on or off the bike. I love that. It takes up the spot where a bottle cage might otherwise go. You know, it's maybe you get something for the back here, or wear a camelback or something. It's doable, but that's sort of the case with all of the high bikes. They don't really have bottle cages. It's one of my few complaints. So I think we've got a great idea of this side of the bike. There's these nice internally routed cables and everything. Just really pretty to look at. If we go over to this side, we can see the Diore XT 10-speed drivetrain. So we've got these nice lightweight sprockets in the rear, and really nice derailleur. Got a slap guard here, and then a smaller 16-tooth sprocket in the front. This is much smaller than most traditional bicycles, and there's only one ring up here. So that's one of the kind of trade-offs of the XDURO Bosch-powered high bike line, is that you know, it uses that smaller sprocket, and it's designed to spin faster, and that creates sort of, it kind of basically is leveraging the more optimal drive speed of the motor, and it's able to kick in pretty hard and pretty punchy when it does go. And it's even got kind of this little bash guard built in, kind of keeps the chain straight. And then this is the sprocket equalizing system. So see, it elevates the chain and kind of separates it from the rear part of the bike, this like 4-link suspension that's going on. It's got a narrow wide setup here on the teeth, and it just basically keeps the system flowing. I have seen some pictures and gotten some feedback about the Bosch system. If you ride in deep mud, you get it really wet and muck, you can end up having some chain suck. So that's where this chain kind of wraps back up like that. It hasn't actually happened to me, but there's a guy on the forums who posted some pictures. He's pretty extreme in the bike rides he does. So I did want to call that out. For the most part, though, this should be scraping some of the mud off, and you should be pretty good. I mean, the fact that motor is still going and he's taken it on some pretty intense rides gives me a lot of confidence, and I really have enjoyed this system. It just suits my ride style a lot. So I don't know, there's a little bit of qualitative feedback there for you, as well as some of the specs and stats on this thing. Not a huge fan of these pedals. You know, they're platform, they're metal, they're pretty stiff, but they, you know, it's something I'd probably replace. Maybe get some clip-ins or something if I was going off-road. So I think that's a pretty good overview here. And this is an aluminum alloy frame, gravity casting interface. Just kind of like highly engineered, finely tuned. It is $5,500, and that's $300 more than the FSRX. So you know, you're kind of paying for the enhanced drivetrain, the upgraded stuff there. The bike that we're on right now is a 50 centimeter, so it's kind of in the middle. This is like their medium. It fits me pretty well. I'm like, you know, 5'9", so kind of a medium-sized guy. And the bike is about 48 pounds total. The motor is about 8.8 pounds, and then 5.5 pounds for that battery. So, you know, if you end up taking that off along with the wheels, you can definitely reduce the weight. And there's enough room in this triangle here with the top tube to kind of hang the bike off your car rack or maybe a bus rack. It's pretty versatile that way. We're going to get up into the display panel next, but I want to call out these trigger shifters. You can kind of click that forward or backwards. Rapid fire, it's kind of what I'm used to. And the fact that there's no twist throttle, you know, that's, for some people, it's like, oh, I want an electric bike that's like a scooter. I actually like that it's more like bicycle. You can grab those, you can crank down on them if you're going downhill. You're not going to accidentally like change the bike speed or mess with anything like that. It's all controlled by your pedaling. You've got this nice breakout box here too. So we were talking about the brakes earlier, easy to reach. The control panel is also very easy to reach, and that interacts with this display panel, which is removable. I love that. So this is the Bosch Intuvia, really nice big display, very intuitive to use. The nice play on words with the name there, Intuvia. It is powered by its own little battery pack, like lithium polymer, 3.7 volts. So you can actually turn this on when it's not even on the bike, which is kind of interesting. I don't know why you'd do that, but I can pop this back on. It does swivel too, so if you've got some glare, you can kind of reduce that by swiveling it forward. Love that. And it defaults to showing your speed, miles per hour, your assist level, which is kind of starts in off right now, so this is just like a regular bike, and then your battery level with like 5 bars, so you get, you know, enough increments to get some ideas. Down here in this black section, this is where you kind of like these other menus are all stored, and you can either hit the I over here or over here to cycle through. So right now it's saying max speed 40 miles per hour, so someone really got this going. Average speed 11.9, okay. Trip time 48 minutes 54 seconds. Odometer, trip distance, clock, and then my favorite, range. Okay, so it actually estimates your range based on how much battery capacity is remaining and sort of how you've been riding. Right now it's no assist, so it can't estimate our range, but if I press the plus over here, kind of arrow up to eco, it says it thinks we can go 53 miles. I mean, that's pretty impressive, and that's, you know, with these knobby tires and everything, you know, I'm not sure it's perfectly accurate, but this is a very capable bike. And you're not getting a lot of assistance in eco mode, but you're definitely getting more than if you were pedaling. Makes up for at least the weight of the extra batteries and stuff here, the motor. But that's pretty sweet in my opinion. So we arrow up to like Tour. I ride in Tour a lot. It drops down to 27 miles, but this is pretty accurate. I've ridden this system pretty hard and far, and I'm always impressed. Sport mode, 22 miles, and turbo mode, 20 miles. The battery's not completely full here, but you know, you can imagine at the highest level of assist, 20 miles, that's just awesome. That would be, you'd be climbing stuff. This is one of the best climbing sort of drive systems and platforms that I've experienced. So I love that. I might just hop on and pedal around. I should also call out shift sensing technology. So when you shift gears on this bike, in order to help reduce the wear and tear from the chain and you know, on these cog set back here, the different sprockets, it actually pauses the motor momentarily, and that helps to smooth out shifting. So I love that. Like, very good system that Bosch has made. Hop on here. I'm just going to go ahead and take it right up to turbo and try to show you the motor. Super smooth to start and very responsive. And I was starting in a higher gear, so if I arrow down here or shift down to like a super, like the first gear, now when I pedal, you'll really see that motor kicking in. You can hear how much louder it is because it's spinning at that higher RPM. So that's kind of cool. Go ahead and click it up a little bit and maybe try to hit some of those higher speeds. And actually, I should show you the shift sensing real quick. So I'm gonna just try to so you can kind of hear the motor like it's like, you know, pausing every time that I was shifting, and that's sweet. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Help to reduce the wear as you ride this, especially if you're climbing or something. It's just a very, very sweet setup. So let me go ahead and, you know, show some other shots here. Definitely a little bit more aggressive on the geometry here, but a lot of fun to ride. That is the Haibike Fullseven. It's 2015 model. It's got the Bosch drive system. For the full write-up on this and other Haibikes, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com. Maybe you've got this bike and you've got some tips or some advice on settings and stuff. Feel free to chime in on the forum or leave some comments, and I'll try to help you out. Ride safe out there.